Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm just coming out with important questions from Unit 2, Public Economics. These questions I have taken uh, from the question paper only, like the questions that has been asked this year itself in Public Economics. And I can bet, like, if you kind of prepare these questions, so you would be most probably would be able to tackle the question that you will going to see in your exams too. Like, these are going to be similar, might be like the language might be changed a little bit here and there, but overall the idea or the concept that the question is asking will remain the same. So by little modifications you can write a good answer in the paper. And I also provided the model answer kind of a thing, so you can refer to these answers as well. So I will quickly discuss only the questions, and I will be giving the link of the Telegram channel from which you can download this PDF. I have uploaded this PDF there, so please go to the channels and link, download this uh, PDF. It's going to be very very helpful, like especially at the last moment preparation. So the first question here is, analyze the reasons behind the low productivity of India's tax system despite several reform efforts. So this is like we have also explained, like we have done a chapter where we were talked about the tax system में क्या क्या challenges हैं, and why we are able to produce very low revenue productivity क्यों हैं in this tax system. Like we have different several reforms as well, जैसे कि GST आया था. It has improved the whole scene a lot, but still we have a lot to go. We have long road to cover. So then what are the challenges? So in these questions we have to first give the reasons. So you will start with just a introduction definition kind of a things, which I have given the whole like structure kind of things. Then you will explain the reasons for this low productivity, and then you will see ki what are the reforms that has been done regarding the tax system. So in the reasons I have given 7 reasons. If you can remember all of them, well and good. Like even if you don't, then try to memorize at least 4 to 5 reasons, and just try to write and expand on them. It will going to be helpful. It will fetch you good marks in the examination. So one is the large informal economy. Second, narrow tax base. Third, agricultural income expansion. Fourth is complex tax structure and high compliance cost. Fifth is tax evasion and avoidance. Sixth is weak enforcement and trust deficit. Seven is low per capita income. So I guess these are pretty understandable, are not very complex things. Just keep trying to try to remember it in orders, like what are the things, and try to understand them as well. Because if you just try to rote just रटने की कोशिश करोगे, then it you might just confuse in the examination, would be able to write. So understand as कि हमारी economy जो है major part of the economic activities is informal and cash based. So therefore it's make difficult to track and tax. Simple, right? Narrow base है हमारा. All these things, just go through the PDF. You will able to get it what what you have to write in this question. Then you have impact of reform efforts, like reforms like GST, corporate tax rationalization, and digitalization and faceless assessments. So these are three reforms, you can say, which has taken place in this regard, and how they have contributed to it. Just write this, and you can give a conclusion ki yes, like these reforms have done improved the situation a lot, but still we have a long way to add. Like we are facing constraints like this like digital or IT kind of so yeah, just you can make a simple conclusion out of it. And the second question that we have here is, discuss the impact of GST on cost saving, revenue generation, and productivity gains. So impact of GST, like here in this question you have basically three things that has been asked from you. First is, you have asked the impact of GST on cost saving, right? Second part mein revenue generation, and third is productivity gains. So I have given the model answer to this, like in cost saving how GST has impact. So in the introduction, just do not start it directly from cost saving. Introduction में just start with what is GST. Like it was introduced in 2017. It's a kind of tax reforms. It's kind of indirect basically tax system which has unified or removed the multiple direct and indirect taxes into one standardized or the common tax system in the countries, and it gives us a one nation one tax kind of a structure. So by introducing it in one or two lines only, then you can write about how this has impacted cost saving, like it removal of cascading taxes, lower logistic cost ho gaya, simplified supply chains, it has reduced compliance duplications, all these things. And second, you will cover how it has impacted the revenue generation. So here as we have 3 to 4 points, like broadening of tax bases like GST की वजह से, improved compliances, third is stable revenue growth, fourth is formalization of economy, right? And the third part of this question is productivity gains. In this productivity gains also, again we have 3 to 4 points like efficient resource allocation, boost to manufacturing competitiveness, time saving, encouragement to formal sector, all these things. Then you can conclude by saying that GST has led to cost efficiency, higher and more stable revenues and productivity gains by integrating markets, improving compliance through digitalization and reducing distortions. So further gains depend on rate rationalization and simpler compliance. ठीक है, तो ये आपका ये पूरा क्वेश्चन हो गया एंड यू विल गेट गुड मार्क्स हियर. मतलब थ्योरीज में दे डोंट गिव यू फुल मार्क्स ऑल दो, बट लेट्स से इफ इट कम्स फॉर 10 marks, so you would be able to get 7 to 8 like for sure if you write all the points, all the dimensions asked in the question. And then we have a third question, that is critically examine the problem of underreporting of income by wealthy Indians. So हमारा चैप्टर था, इफ़ यू रिमेंबर, अबाउट द अंडर रिपोर्टिंग ऑफ इनकम बाय वेल्दी इंडिविजुअल्स बाय राम सिंह, राइट? सो हियर यू हैव टू क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन. क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन का मतलब है कि हियर वी हैव टू लाइक गिव दी लाइक लेट्स से हियर, so we have started with the definitions, then we have given nature and evidences why we are saying कि there is an under reporting. So first critical examine में होता है, so we first of all we look at the current scenario, मतलब क्या है, on what basis this statement is. So हमारा statement है कि under reporting of incomes by wealthy Indians ये problem है. So we need to provide evidence for this problem कि yes this problem exists, right? तो उसके लिए we have this nature and evidences which is directly taken from the paper. And you remember I also told you to keep this in mind, to you can just आप इसको like you can just wrote this, mug it up, because this is very useful data and very like it's also not very difficult for you to remember. Just go through it once, and this question can like 90% can be asked from you. So these are the nature and evidences which shows that there is a huge or significant underreporting of income by wealthy Indians. Then you have to say critically examine, so you have to cover like all aspects of it, like providing the evidence, and then you have to give the causes or reasons for this, right? And they have also asked you remedial measures, so you have to provide the remedial measures as well. So again there are 3 parts like in which you have to answer this question. First, critically examine, so you have to describe this whole situations with evidence, like evidence based ki yes this is the problem. It is also kind of introductory. Then you have to highlight that what are the reasons, what are the causes that doing this problem, and then last you have to give the remedial measures suggestions. So here we have the causes क्या हैं अंडर रिपोर्टिंग के, कैपिटल इनकम कंसीलमेंट हो गया, कैश बेस्ड ट्रांजेक्शन, टैक्स अवॉइडेंस एंड आर्बिट्राज, वीक इन्फोर्समेंट, डेटा गैप्स. देन यू हैव इकोनॉमिक एंड सोशल इम्प्लीकेशंस, इनके क्या हैं, लाइक व्हाट इट लीड्स टू, right? So we have this regressive tax burden, revenue loss, distorted inequality data. Then we have remedial measures. So if you think like these are too long or too lengthy, so like they have particularly they've highlighted on they have emphasized on this part, remedial measures. So try to keep in mind at least 3 to 4 remedial measures. And in causes you can again like give 2 to 3 at least, if you remember all of it, then it is like well and good. But if not, in the situations like we have a less time, then you try to remember 2 to 3 points of each and just write it down, right? And then give a conclusion कि underreporting by wealthy Indians is a systemic problem rooted in capital income opacity and weak enforcement. Addressing it requires structural reforms, better data integrations, and a fair but firm tax administration to enhance equity, revenue, and credibility of India's tax system. Fourth one, now the next question is fourth. So it is, what are the principal costs and risks associated with the India's high debt? Examine the measures implemented to alleviate this problem. So what it is related to India's high debt, right? We have read a research paper, like the paper which is whole concentrated on this topic only, about the India's high debt. Like we have a high debt, what are the possible like problems or challenges related to it. Okay, so we need to give the principal costs and risk. इट इज़ मोर लाइक अ चैलेंज ओनली, लाइक प्रॉब्लम्स और challenges क्या हैं हमारे हाई डेप्थ की. सो अगेन क्वेश्चन सेम ही रहेंगे आपके, लाइक द क्वेश्चन दैट वुड बी आस्क्ड फ्रॉम यू वे ऑन सिमिलर बेसिस कि challenges क्या हैं, व्हाट आर द प्रॉब्लम्स फेस्ड बाय इंडिया बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स हाई डेप्थ. उसकी लैंग्वेज चेंज हो सकती है, लाइक दे हैव आस्क्ड अस व्हाट आर द प्रिंसिपल कॉस्ट एंड रिस्क, हो गया कुछ और भी आ सकती है like language, but still the essence of the questions, like the from examiner point of view, they're trying to check your ability to grasp this thing, right? Like what the question is asking from you. And like this high depth, most likely the question would be about ki challenges kya hai that India is facing, problems kya hai. That's it. So you just need to keep that in mind and examine the measures implemented to alleviate this problem. You have to give the measures. So mostly you would be seeing कि last में ना, like you have to provide some solutions or measures. So be prepared for that beforehand. Here again, like we have started with the introduction. कि yes, India's debt, public debt increased sharply after COVID-19, reaching around 85 to 90% of GDP, and India has avoided immediate debt crisis due to strong domestic financing institutions. High debt poses serious fiscal growth intergenerational risk. Now we have principal risk and cost associated, that is high interest rate, high interest burden, crowding out of productive spending, debt sustainability risk. You will be seeing these are the same as what we have discussed in the last videos about the challenges and problems of India's high debt. So you have to write the same thing here. And like this intergenerational equity is concerned, state level fisc this. So इसमें भी I would suggest कि like must you have to write this high interest rate burden, this point, and also have to point out this crowding out wala point and sustainability risk and state fiscal. You can like ignore this if you do not have a time or like capacity to learn this. And then you have to give the measures also implemented to elevate high debt. Fiscal consolidation must. Protecting capital expenditure, this is also must. Tax reforms and revenue mobilization, asset monetization, privatization, institutional strengthening, cautious external borrowing. You have to remember this, like at least, so try to remember, if not all 6, then 4 at least, 4 to 5. Then we have a conclusion. And the question 5 is, what are the criteria to assess debt sustainability? I explain the pressures on sustainability of India's public finance and path toward debt consolidations. So first, we need to give the criteria to assess. First, you need to write the definition of debt sustainability, which is here, okay? Then you have to give the criteria to assess. Like how criteria to assess कि मतलब हम कैसे पता लगा सकते हैं कि डेप्थ सस्टेनेबिलिटी के बारे में, कि कितना हमारा जो डेप्थ है वो कितना सस्टेनेबल है, यानी कि गवर्नमेंट कितनी एबल है टू रीपे और टू सर्विस देयर डेप्थ. उसको फाइंड आउट करने के लिए व्हाट आर द क्राइटेरियाज, या फिर हम बोल सकते हैं इंडिकेटर्स क्या हैं. ठीक है, दे आर गिवन हियर लाइक 6 indicators. Debt to GDP ratio is very common measure, okay? Interest payment to revenue ratio, primary balance, and growth interest differential. So growth interest differential says कि if economic growth is greater than interest rate, देन डेथ स्टेबलाइजेज मोर इजीली. वॉट इट मीन्स कि हमारा मान लो कि ग्रोथ जो है पर एनम इट इज़ इंक्रीजिंग विद 8% पर एनम, ठीक है, ग्रोथ रेट. एंड हमारा इंटरेस्ट रेट जो हमें डेब्ट पे देना है इट इज़ 6% पर एनम, लाइक इतना देना है. सो इन देयर डिफरेंस इज वॉट 2% हमारी ग्रोथ एक्स्ट्रा है. यू कैन सी कि ये हमें पे करना है और ये हमारी इनकम है. सो इफ़ वी आर अर्निंग मोर, इफ़ वी आर ग्रोइंग मोर देन वॉट वी हैव टू पे, देन वी कैन से कि हमारा डेब्ट स्टेबलाइज है. इफ़ इट इज़ अदर वे राउंड, अगर हम बोलते हैं इंटरेस्ट हमें 10% की है, हमारी 10% पर एनम है, एंड वी आर जस्ट ओनली अर्निंग और इंक्रीजिंग अवर इनकम बाई 8%, इट मीन्स कि हमारा जो इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट है इट इज़ वेरी हाई and it is not stabilize, it's not stable, you know. It can create huge sustainability risk in the futures. That's it. And then we have maturity profile and currency composition. You can ignore this. Institutional and policy credibility. So you can just remember these 4 to 5 points. Then we have pressures on sustainability of India's public finance, high public debt, heavy interest burden, persistent fiscal and primary deficit, state level fiscal stress, demographic social spending pressures, climate and infrastructure financial needs. Then we have path towards debt consolidation. It's very important. It also gives you like measures or you can say policy kind of suggestions, that what policy measures you suggest that India should take in order to to consolidate its debt, basically to reduce its debt over time. So that includes gradual fiscal consolidations, revenue mobilization, expenditure rationalization, protect capital expenditure, strengthen fiscal institutions, improve state finances. These are pretty easy ones, so just read it once and try to revise it 2 to 3 times and you would be able to write. If not 6, then you will definitely remember 3 to 4 in the examination, or 3 even. It is better than knowing nothing, right? So there's no harm. Then we have the conclusion, and our 6th question is discuss the key features of GST implementation in India, highlighting the effects on revenue generation and cost saving, and what are the distortions associated with it. So it is basically asking you 3 things. First is key features क्या थे हमारे GST के. So start with the introduction, जो हमने अभी बताया था कि GST क्या थी. Like it is introduced, it's a kind of indirect tax reforms implemented in 2017 with this kind of purpose. And then you have to give the key features of GST implementation, right? These are 4 here, that it unified the indirect tax system, dual GST structure, this central, state and integrated, right? Like it is like we have a different components. One is central GST, one is like state GST that the state collects it, and one is integrated GST, which is here IGST, right? And other one is input tax credit mechanism and digital administrations, like it has its own portal, e-way bills, e-invoicing, and like it improve transparency, compliance tracking, etc. Then you have to see the it has asked you highlight the effect. In a way they are asking you what is the impact of the GST. So you have to give the impact on revenue generation and cost saving. So here I provided you impact on revenue generation, improved tax compliance, stable revenue corrections, formalization of economy, and cost saving and productivity gains पे क्या effect था, impact of GST. It includes like reduced logistic and transaction cost, lower compliance cost in long run, enhanced competitiveness. Then you have asked the distortions and challenges of associated with GST. So these are few of the challenges, like multiple rate structure, compliance burden for small medium enterprises, inverted duty structure. Inverted duty structure होता है like higher tax on inputs than outputs lead to refund delays. So higher tax on inputs than output, it means like let's say you are making any product or you are making a t-shirt, so the tax on buying the cloth, like material or fabric, is more than on the t-shirt, right? So that is what called inverted duty structure. And state and central state fiscal tension, these are all the challenges. Then we have a conclusion. And the next and the last seventh question is, the affluent Indians often talk about the excessive income taxations, yet few of them figure among the top income taxpayers. Explain the statement in context of underreporting of income in India. So this is again a question that how they can ask you about this underreporting of wealthy Indians. This just a sec like other way around. So here we have to give the reasons first for underreporting by the affluent. That includes mismatch between wealth and reported income, hidden capital income, misclassification of income, cash-based transactions, use of tax avoidance strategies, weak enforcement litigations, right? And then we have implications, like what it leads to, what are the challenges it creates: regressive tax burden, underestimated inequality, low tax productivity, and all. So these are the few things. And also, like in unit first, I have like giving you the important topics that you can, like if you have left with like very less time, so just go through this topics once more, like just brush it up. I have like taught you like almost all the things here in the lectures, but still like you just can go through the readings and just last minute revise. You can just revise all these topics, because I have analyzed the papers and then giving you this input. And I'm not saying that 100% paper would be from here, like whatever I'm giving you, suggesting that this is the important, but most likely uh, this is going to be like somewhat related to it only. So like if you have left just one day in your examination, just go through it, like these topics. I would really recommend that. So first is, we have a theories of public sector. This is very important. It's a very like good portion uh, of the whole syllabus. So just go through these development theories like ratchet effect, Baumol's law, Wagner's law, political model. These are like not directly पूछे जा रहे हैं. So like you don't even have to think what they're asking. They're directly kind of a definition, or they can ask you this for 6 marks to 8 marks, also 9 marks, or even 10 marks. So just go through them: ratchet effect, Baumol's law, Wagner's law, and political model. ठीक है. रैचेट इफेक्ट हमारा बेसिकली वही होता है कि ये बताता है कि वाई अगर हमारी लेट से इकोनॉमी में कोई भी एक वॉर टाइम सिचुएशन आती है, या फिर कोई भी मतलब अपीवल आते हैं, कोई शॉक आता है, तो उससे क्या होता है कि गवर्नमेंट जो है विद द अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द टैक्स पेयर एक्सपेंडिचर को बढ़ा देती है, राइट. एंड टैक्स पेयर आर ऑल्सो विलिंग टू डू सो, बिकॉज सिचुएशन ऐसी होती है, दे हैव टू गिव हायर टैक्सेस नो टू सस्टेन द इकनॉमी. लेकिन क्या होता है कि इवन आफ्टर दैट पीरियड ओवर, जो एक्सपेंडिचर है, स्पेंडिंग, वो फिर भी हाई रहती है. इट डोंट फॉल बैक टू द ओरिजिनल पोजीशन. सो बेसिकली ये जो सस्टेनिंग है, लाइक जो परसिस्टेंसी है हायर एक्सपेंडिचर की और हायर पब्लिक स्पेंडिंग की, इसको ही हम रैचेट इफेक्ट बोलते हैं. एंड दिस हैपन टू ड्यू टू मैनी लाइक रीजन्स की वजह से हो सकता है. सो वन सच रीजन इज़ हाई इनकम इलास्टिसिटी. हाई इनकम इलास्टिसिटी बोलती है कि एज इनकम इंक्रीजेज, हाई इनकम इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ डिमांड. सो इट सेज कि जैसे इनकम इंक्रीज होती है इंडिविजुअल्स की, सो दे डिमांड हायर पब्लिक गुड्स लाइक एजुकेशन और रिक्रिएशनल एक्टिविटीज़ हो गई, एंड हेल्थ हो गया. सो बिकॉज ऑफ विच जो पब्लिक स्पेंडिंग है इट रिमेन्स एट अ हायर लेवल, गवर्नमेंट को प्रोवाइड करानी होती है. सो दैट्स रिजिड इफेक्ट. बमोल्स लॉ एंड देन वी हैव वैगनर्स लॉ. बमोल्स लॉ बोलता है कि जैसे कि हमारी जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी में इम्प्रूवमेंट होता है, तो वी हैव अ टू सेक्टर, लेट्स से पब्लिक सेक्टर एंड प्राइवेट सेक्टर. सो पब्लिक सेक्टर बेसिकली वी आर टेकिंग टू अजम्पशन जिस पे ये थ्योरी बेस्ड है कि पहला तो जो पब्लिक सेक्टर है इट इज़ लेबर इंटेंसिव, ठीक है, देन द प्राइवेट सेक्टर. एंड सेकेंड इज़ कि जो पब्लिक सेक्टर है इट कैन नॉट सब्स्टिट्यूट कैपिटल फॉर लेबर टू इंक्रीज इट्स प्रोडक्टिविटी, तो वो भी चांस नहीं है. सो लेट से अगर कोई भी टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट होता है जिसकी वजह से प्राइवेट सेक्टर में प्रोडक्टिविटी इंक्रीज हो जाती है, सो दे आर सब्स्टिट्यूटिंग कैपिटल फॉर लेबर, जिसकी वजह से लेबर की प्रोडक्टिविटी इंक्रीज हो रही है क्योंकि दे आर यूजिंग न्यू टेक्नोलॉजीज, दे आर सब्स्टिट्यूटिंग कैपिटल. तो उनकी लेबर प्रोडक्टिविटी इंक्रीज होने की वजह से देयर वेजेस ऑल्सो इंक्रीजिंग, ठीक है, वेजेस इंक्रीजिंग बिकॉज ऑफ विच. बट और हम जानते हैं लेबर मार्केट का काम क्या होता है, इक्विलिब्रियम पे लाना, सारी लाइक पब्लिक सेक्टर एंड प्राइवेट सेक्टर की वेजेस को लिंक करना। तो जो वेज इंक्रीज होगा प्राइवेट सेक्टर में, तो हम वी कैन नॉट सब्स्टिट्यूट कैपिटल फॉर लेबर, तो हमें सेम आउटपुट लेवल को मेंटेन करने के लिए एज अ प्राइवेट लेवल हमें एक्सपेंडिचर इंक्रीज करना होगा। बेसिकली हमारा कॉस्ट इंक्रीज हो जाएगा पब्लिक सेक्टर का, क्योंकि उसको भी उतनी ही वेज मेंटेन करनी होगी, हाई वेजेस मेंटेन करनी होंगी विदाउट इंक्रीज इन प्रोडक्टिविटी, जस्ट टू रिमेन एट द कॉन्स्टेंट लेवल। तो उनका जो टोटल जो उनकी स्पेंडिंग है टू द रेशियो ऑफ टोटल एक्सपेंडिचर वो बढ़ जाएगी। दैट्स बर्नोल्स लॉ। देन वी हैव वैगनर्स लॉ। वैगनर्स लॉ बेसिकली इन्होंने डेटा, एडोल्फ वैगनर एक जर्मन इकोनॉमिस्ट थे, इन्होंने डेटा स्टडी करा था ऑफ यूरोपियन कंट्रीज एंड यूएस एंड जापान का। उन्होंने फाइंड आउट करा था कि द पॉलिटिकल द पब्लिक एक्सपेंडिचर हैज़ बीन इंक्रीजिंग ओवर टाइम। एंड उन्होंने आर्ग्यूमेंट दिया था कि वाई दिस इज इंक्रीजिंग। So, and then again we have a political model which tells about कि जैसे इनकम लेवल इंक्रीज होता है तो हमारी पब्लिक स्पेंडिंग भी इंक्रीज होती है। एंड सिमिलरली हमारा एक्सेसिव गवर्नमेंट है, ये बेसिकली शो करता है कि इन द फेवर ऑफ कि जैसे हमारा पब्लिक स्पेंडिंग क्यों इंक्रीज हो रहा है, राइट, और पब्लिक सेक्टर एज ए सेक्टर क्यों इंक्रीज हो रहा है। एक्सेसिव गवर्नमेंट बताता है कि नेगेटिव्स क्या हैं, कि दिस इज इंक्रीजिंग बट व्हाट आर द नेगेटिव्स ऑफ इट, पब्लिक सेक्टर इंक्रीज होने के क्या क्या नेगेटिव्स हैं, हार्मफुल इफेक्ट। सो वन सच इज ब्यूरोक्रेसी मॉडल ऑफ एक्सेसिव गवर्नमेंट। तो ये बोलता है कि जो ब्यूरोक्रेट्स हैं दे आर पीपल एज वेल, सो दे आर वर्किंग फॉर द सेल्फ मोटिवेशन, फॉर द सेल्फ इंटरेस्ट। उसकी वजह से क्या होता है कि दे हैव पावर टू बेसिकली चूज द बजट ऑफ देयर ब्यूरो, एंड वो उनका जो मेन मोटिव होता है इज टू मैक्सिमाइज देयर बजट ऑफ द ब्यूरो, राइट, rather than वो नहीं देखते कि सोशल ऑप्टिमल क्या है, दे आर जस्ट वांटेड टू मैक्सिमाइज देयर ब्यूरो। एंड इनका जो मैक्सिमाइज होता है, दिस हैपन्स लाइक लेट्स से दिस इज द मार्जिनल बजट, दिस इज मार्जिनल कॉस्ट। यहाँ पे हमारा सोशल ऑप्टिमल लेवल पे होना चाहिए, जहाँ पे मार्जिनल कॉस्ट इज इक्वल टू मार्जिनल कॉस्ट है, मार्जिनल बेनिफिट इज इक्वल टू मार्जिनल कॉस्ट। लेकिन जो मैक्सिमम ऑप्टिमल लेवल होता है ब्यूरोक्रेट्स का वो यहाँ पे होता है, which is when marginal cost is greater than the marginal benefit. So that's why it is creating excessive government. This is the excessive government. And please, if this question comes, then you have to write this diagram as well. This is very important. Okay, so excessive government है, उसका basically ये नुकसान हो रहा है क्योंकि हमारी इनएफिशिएंसी इकोनॉमी में बढ़ रही है, because our money is spending but it is not creating any it has not been utilized properly basically. And then we have Arrow's impossibility theorem, that is very very important. So just keep in mind what the Arrow's impossibility theorem, right, उसमें मतलब यही है कि जो केनिथ एरो थे, ही इज़ अ नोबेल लॉरिएट, ही हैज़ गिवन दिस, इन्होंने बोला था कि देयर इज़ नो रूल, और कोई ऐसा पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम नहीं है, मैकेनिज्म नहीं है जो कि मतलब बहुत ही आइडियल हो, विच कैन प्रोवाइड आइडियल काइंड ऑफ अ सोल्यूशन। Arrow's impossibility theorem यही है, and he has given like 4 to 5 such ideal conditions जो कि रियल लाइफ में कोई भी रूल फॉलो नहीं करता है। सो यू टू कीप लाइक 4 आइडियल्स जो कंडीशंस थी। वन इज़ लाइक इट वाज लाइक वन इज़ पेरेटो एफिशिएंसी थी हमारी, पेरेटो एफिशिएंसी, एंड वन इज़ लाइक इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ irrelevant alternatives, and similarly others थी 3-4, like just go through this ones. And then we have voting paradox. voting paradox basically बताता है कि हमारा जो मेजोरिटी वोटिंग सिस्टम है वो क्यों फेल होता है, क्योंकि मतलब हमारा ना, जैसे मान लो 3 अल्टरनेटिव्स हैं A B C, एंड वी हैव 3 वोटर्स 1 2 3, एंड जो प्रेफरेंसेस हैं इन वोटर्स की, इट इज़ समथिंग लाइक कि A प्रेफर फर्स्ट वोटर प्रेफर A to B, B to C, and this prefer A to B, C to A to B, and this prefer B to C to A, ठीक है। सो अगर हम पहले A एंड B के बीच में हम कन्फ्रंटेशन कराते हैं तो who wins? A wins, and then we take the confrontation between A and C, winner की और C के बीच में, then we can see कि C wins. So ideally C should be the social optimal, लेकिन हम देखते हैं कि अगर हम पहले बी एंड सी का करवाते हैं. इन दिस केस बी विंस एंड फिर बी का ए के साथ कराते हैं हम कंपटीशन, तो ए विंस. इट इज़ कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी, so therefore we cannot reach to a solution. It will keep move in circle, so that is called voting paradox. And again, next topic is that's very important is the Lindahl equilibrium. So basically optimal level बताता है efficient level of taxation, and it basically happens at the intersection of the supply curve and the demand curve. So यहाँ पे individual demand curves को vertically sum करते हैं हम. Like when we have this demand and let's say another individual has this demand curve, तो एक expenditure level पे how much price that person is willing to give, or this is tax price, इनको हम add करते हैं, and this point it is give P1 plus P2 kind of thing. So this is Lindahl equilibrium, just remember this. And then we have ad valorem tax versus specific tax. मतलब एल वेडरम टैक्स का इनका इफेक्ट देखना है बेसिकली आउटपुट पर. दे वुड बी गिविंग यू सम कंडीशंस कि हमारा यूटिलिटी सेम है या फिर रेवेन्यू जनरेशन सेम हो रहा है, तो उस केस में एंड अजम्पशन है कि हमारा कॉम्पिटिटिव फर्म्स हैं, तो क्या आउटपुट हमारा सेम रहेगा इन दोनों केसेस में? सो येस, आउटपुट सेम रहेगा इन दोनों केसेस में. एंड फिगर वुड बी समथिंग लाइक के ऐसा, दिस इज़ आवर सप्लाई कर्व एंड दिस इज़ ओरिजिनल डिमांड कर्व. तो हमारी प्रोपोर्शनल स्पेसिफिक टैक्स प्रोपोर्शनल टैक्स होता है, सो पैरेलल शिफ्ट होगा इसमें, राइट. प्रोपोर्शनल डिमांड होगी आफ्टर टैक्स. एंड जो हमारा एड वैलोरम होता है वो होता है परसेंटेज टैक्स होता है कि लाइक 5% हो गया कम्युनिटीज़ पे. तो जैसे जैसे कम्युनिटीज़ का प्राइस इंक्रीज़ होगा 5% भी उसका इंक्रीज़ होगा ना, राइट. सो एज इज हेयर वी हैव अ प्राइस, हियर वी हैव अ क्वांटिटी, सो एज अ प्राइस इंक्रीजिंग this is also the gap between this and shift basically is increases, so it should be something like this, ad valorem tax. But they both are intersecting at this points, which is like keeping the output same after the tax effect, right? So this is the thing, this is the graph you have to follow, ad valorem tax versus specific tax. Then we have effect of elasticity. This is also very very important. ये बताता है कि आपको like हमें बताना है कि जो टैक्स बर्डन है या फिर जो इंसिडेंस ऑफ टैक्स लाइक टैक्स इंसिडेंस है वो किसके ऊपर ज़्यादा होगा, लाइक कौन ज़्यादा बर्डन को ले रहा है टैक्स को, कंज्यूमर या प्रोड्यूसर. सो ये जो डिसीजन है बेसिकली इट डिपेंड्स कि हमारा डिमांड ज़्यादा इलास्टिक है या सप्लाई ज़्यादा इलास्टिक है, कौन क्या है, लाइक. सो इलास्टिसिटी के बेस पे हमारा इफेक्ट पता चलता है. सो हमने लाइक वी कैन सी कि अगर हमारा लेट्स से सप्लाई कर्व इज़ हॉरिजॉन्टल यानी कि परफेक्टली इलास्टिक है, तो उस केस में टैक्स के बाद हमारा सप्लाई ऊपर चला गया, राइट. तो जो पूरा टैक्स बर्डन है इट इज़ ऑन कंज्यूमर, ठीक है. एंड सिमिलरली अगर हमारा डिमांड जो है इट इज़ परफेक्टली इन इलास्टिक एंड हियर वी हैव सप्लाई एंड टैक्स के बाद हमारा सप्लाई यहाँ पे आ गया, सो अगेन द होल बर्डन ऑफ अ टैक्स ऑन कंज्यूमर. सो व्हाट वी कैन से एज द सप्लाई कर्व बिकम्स मोर इलास्टिक and demand becomes less inelastic, the burden is like more on consumer here, and opposite in this case of on a producer. So you have to given like these kind of a condition, if question is comes like try to explain all these 3 to 4 conditions using a graph and write it about it, that as demand becomes more elastic, then the incidence of tax or tax burden is more on the producer than on the consumer. Then you can be asked like हमारे कम्युनिटी टैक्स है लग रहा है, कम्युनिटी पे टैक्स लग रहा है, so show it like effect of this tax in terms of substitution effect and income effect. So let's say this is our these are 2 goods, this is our initial kind of a right, this is our IC, this is इनिशियल बजट कंस्ट्रेंट, गुड 1 और गुड 2 ले लेते हैं हम, एंड हमारा टैक्स लगा इस कम्युनिटी पे, सो इट इज़ शिफ्टेड दिस वे, एंड लेट्स से दिस इज अवर इनकम इफेक्ट एंड राइट. सो लेट्स से हमारा ये इनकम इफेक्ट को दिखाएगा दिस शिफ्ट, एंड दिस इज इनकम, लेट्स से दिस इज ई हैट एंड दिस इज ई स्टार हियर. तो जो ई 1 to E हैट होगा it is substitution. Let's say first E star. This is the income effect, and from E star to E hat, it is the substitution effect. This is a substitution effect. So this is the effect, like this is how you have to show it, the substitution and income effect of a tax on commodity. Then you also should know measuring deadweight loss using compensated demand curve. Compensated demand curve हमारा नॉर्मल डिमांड ही होता है, इसमें बस हम सब्सटीट्यूशन इफेक्ट को आइसोलेट कर देते हैं, तो उसकी वजह से हमारा सिर्फ सब्सटीट्यूशन इफेक्ट को देखते हैं हमारा क्या हो रहा है, राइट. सो हमारा कंपनसेटेड डिमांड कर्व इज बिकम्स मोर इलास्टिक एज कम्पेयर टू नॉर्मल डिमांड कर्व. लेट्स से हमारे कंपनसेटेड डिमांड कर्व है, और लेट्स से ये हमारा प्राइस है P1, Q1 क्वांटिटी है हमारी है, एंड लेट्स से हमारे पास टैक्स लगता है, तो प्राइस विल बिकम हेयर एंड क्वांटिटी बिकम हेयर. इनका गैप इज T टैक्स, राइट, एंड ये हमारा टैक्स रेवेन्यू होगा, एंड दिस इज अवर डेडवेट लॉस. सो दिस इज हाउ यू हैव टू शो इट. एंड यू ऑल्सो हैव टू कैलकुलेट डेडवेट लॉस यूजिंग द फॉर्मूला कि हमारी डेडवेट लॉस यही तो होता है 1/2 हाइट इज टैक्स इंटू बेस इज चेंज इन क्वांटिटी. चेंज इन क्वांटिटी को यू हैव टू टेक इन फ्रॉम दी इलास्टिसिटी वाली चीज़, मतलब इक्वेशन से यू हैव टू टेक इट बाय सब्स्टिट्यूटिंग इट. सो इन दी एंड यू विल गेट समथिंग लाइक इलास्टिसिटी एंड टैक्स स्क्वायर. Change in price, it होता है like you can calculate it also. Okay, change in quantity is equal to change in price upon P into quantity ET, and just put it here. Change in price is T again upon P Q ED. So it is 1/2 elasticity of demand T square quantity Q upon P. Yeah, दिस इज़ द डेडवेट लॉस. यहाँ से यू कैन सी कि टैक्स अगर इंक्रीज होता है तो लाइक इफ़ टैक्स बिकम्स ट्वाइस डेडवेट लॉस विल इंक्रीज बाई 4 times. तो उसका डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल है. इनकम इलास्टिसिटी डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल. सो एज अवर इलास्टिसिटी इंक्रीजेज डेडवेट ऑल्सो इंक्रीजेज. इलास्टिसिटी हमारी कब इंक्रीज होती है? सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट जब इंक्रीज होता है हमारा. सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट लाइक व्हेन अवर कर्व्स बिकम मोर फ्लैटर. ठीक है, सो ट्राई टू इंटरलिंक दीज थिंग्स. एंड देन वी हैव इफेक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट इनकम टैक्स. ये भी आपको देखना है. इट्स स्लाइटली लाइक टेक्निकल, सो यू कैन स्किप इट, बट आई वुड सजेस्ट लाइक गो थ्रू द पिक्चर at least. Graph is very very important when it comes to economics, so try to at least get a hand on the graphs and basic things what is happening in the graph. And then we have a taxation of labor. 2 fallacies of optimal taxation. This is very very important. Like ये आएगा आपका define में, like it can be asked like just define in 5 marks 6 marks में basically 2 fallacies of optimal taxation. So you just need to just learn it, understand it, and just write in the examination. And we have again very very important, comparing a progressive and proportional taxation that have the same effect on utility. So again here in this we get a graph like this is, we have a before tax budget constraint, and for proportional taxation it would be look something like this, right? And let's say here we would the earlier, and proportional taxation पे like let's say यहाँ तक तो हमारा till we have a income level equal to y, we don't have to pay any tax. After that we need to pay, so हमारा it would be passing from something like this here, right? This is proportional taxation, and E2 E3. बिकॉज वी नीड टू मेक श्योर कि ये इसी यूटिलिटी से जाए पास होके, बिकॉज इट इज़ गिवन के इफेक्ट ऑन सेम यूटिलिटी है हमारी. सो दिस इज़ द थिंग, एंड सो इसमें इफेक्ट कंपेयर करना है. सो यू कैन सी के जो डिफरेंस होता है बिटवीन बिफोर बजट कंस्ट्रेंट एंड आफ्टर बजट कंस्ट्रेंट शोज अस द रेवेन्यू. तो उसका रेवेन्यू कितना होगा? दिस मच इज़ द रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम प्रोपोर्शनल टैक्सेशन, एंड दिस मच इज़ द रेवेन्यू from progressive taxation. So which is greater here? The revenue generation is more from the proportional taxation than the progressive taxation, and so proportional taxes is more good because revenue ज़्यादा है. इधर revenue कम है, इसका मतलब क्या है कि इधर कुछ dead weight loss हुआ है ना, welfare loss हुआ है, and वो कितना है? The difference in here इसके बराबर. That's it. एंड ऑल्सो एक रीजनिंग आप ये भी दे सकते हैं इसमें कि proportional taxation and progressive taxation में. But yeah, this would be enough, like given in this term. So like learn this graph. This is very very important. And then we have inverse elasticity rule. मतलब ये बताता है कि हमारी जो taxation है, proportional taxation is kind of inverse to the elasticity of demand curve. Like if elasticity increases of anything, then we should like we should impose a lower tax, and as elasticity is lower, then we need to impose higher tax. इसका impact हमें implications पता होने चाहिए. Like if you can derive it, so also try to derive it, this inverse elasticity rule. They can ask you in their situations, but even if you don't have a time, you find it difficult, so you can at least just remember this thing. Like it shows the inverse relation between the elasticity of demand and the proportional tax rate. And implications इसके ये थे कि higher inelastic good कौन सी होती हैं? Necessities. High elastic कौन सी होती हैं? Necessities होती हैं. High elasticity हमारी luxury goods की होती है, right? Luxury goods पे ये बोल रहा है कि should tax less. Whereas जो necessities हैं which are less elastic or inelastic in nature, it is suggesting कि should tax high. So it is not good from the equitable point of view. हम क्या बोल रहे हैं कि रिच को तो एटलीस्ट कम, उनकी लग्जरी कौन खरीदता है? हाई इनकम इंडिविजुअल्स जो रिच पीपल होते हैं वो. सो वी आर सेइंग इन अदर वर्ड कि वी शुड टैक्स रिच लेस एंड पुअर मोर. तो इट इज़ नॉट इक्विटेबल इन एनी सेंस, राइट? सो ये implication है. सेम implication of Ramsey rule, and just keep it in mind. So basically it is a principle that provides optimal taxation, right? Given that government has to earn a fixed revenue, and it basically based on this inverse elasticity rule only के higher elastic good so tax less, and less elastic goods tax high, right? And then last we have this effect of this is probability of detection, this is fine rate, this is tax rate, and this is income or evasion decision. So this is tax evasion, we have talked about it. And probability जैसे कि we have graph something like this, right? This is here we have non-income if we not caught, this is income if we got caught. X is equal to 0, x is equal to y. Here we have this y. Here we have 1 minus t y. Similarly here like this, right? And this is here we are like optimal हमारा यहाँ पर है. So now we are saying कि अगर हमारी optimal कैसे होता है, like where our this indifference curve is proportional to this budget constraint. And budget constraint जो है हमारा, इसका slope जो होता है that is minus f, and this indifference curve का slope होता है हमारा, just keep in mind 1 minus p upon p. So it is saying के this is 45 degree line. I have draw it wrong, it should be like this, but yeah, you just you can draw it right. So if our probability of detection increases, what happens? This increases, so our slope of IC slopes become flatter. And where will this slope shift if it becomes flatter? And mind you, like there is no effect on the slope or on the budget constraint, because no p is coming right in its slope. So slope will becomes flatter. It will becomes flatter if we go this side or this side, right? Though only it becomes flatter. If we go this side, it is becoming more steeper. So we would be moving more toward the x is equal to y, and x is equal to y क्या है हमारा? No evasions. So evasion in a way is decreasing if we have a high chance of probability, and this is very justifiable as well. And same for fine rate के लिए, if we have like fine rate हमारा increase हो रहा है, so it means slope हमारा क्या हो रहा है? It becomes more steeper. इनको हम change करेंगे, if f increases it would decreases, right? So हमारा slope will shift something like this. राइट, एंड दिस विल गो समवेयर हेयर ओनली, एक्स के पास ही जाएगा. फाइन इंक्रीज होता है फिर भी हमारा इवेजन, सॉरी द रिड्यूसिंग इट इज़, इवेजन इज रिड्यूसिंग. एंड टैक्स रेट इंक्रीज हो रहा है, और टैक्स रेट इंक्रीज हो रहा है, इट इज़ मोर लाइक इनकम डिक्रीज हो रहा है, राइट. इफ़ इट इज़ इंक्रीजिंग, दिस इज़ बिकमिंग लेस. तो हमारा यहाँ पे हो जाएगा शिफ्ट, मतलब इस केस में हमारा बैकवर्ड इनवर्ड शिफ्ट होगा, बजट कंस्ट्रेंट इनवर्ड शिफ्ट. And when if income is increasing, here we have a outward shift like this. So yeah, this is like you have to keep in mind. Just try to go through these topics that I have told you, and I just hope that my video helping you guys. And if that is the case, then please do comment about it, how you find this lecture, and it will help me to keep improving in myself. And also please do subscribe the channels, like and share it with your friends who needs it at the time.